In front of me are some of the best football boots that have released this year in 2025. In today's video, we're gonna go over all of my favorite releases of 2025 so far as a little mid-year overview and talk about what makes them so special. Starting off with one of the early releases, the Predator Elite 25, which we of course still have many colorways of here in store. This is one of my favorite football boots to play in. This is actually my personal pair, and I absolutely love this champagne colorway, an homage to football boots and Predators of the past. This of course has the really nice control frame outsole with the triangular kind of star-shaped looking studs. It's a full hybrid touch upper, which has completely broken in if you can't see from there. And this is my favorite generation of the fold over tongue series. Absolutely fantastic. The look is amazing. The fit and feel is amazing. And of course, the performance from this football boot is one of the best on the market. We also have the Asics Menace 5, which is of course another personal pair of mine. This has been very, very heavily used. I love these football boots. It gives you that kind of almost OG F50 vibe with this monosock construction, a very nice synthetic leather material that's got this exoskeleton-like cage over the top of it that makes this boot super locked in and very, very comfortable. The 5mm heel lift in the rear of the boot is also really unique to the Asics brand, so it gives this boot a really unique feel for both footballers and AFL players as well who wear these. The Mizuno Morelia DNA from the Platinum Silver pack had to be mentioned. It's one of my all-time favorite football boots, an absolutely beautiful K-leather upper that is super lightweight, very thin, but still remains kind of plush on ball, which is amazing. And then the Morelia Neo 4 sole plate and Neo 4 Beta sole plate accompanies it, which gives it a little bit more aggression, better traction on AG and FG surfaces, and of course has a ton of rigidity and snapback. I love the fact that they went with the actual updated Morelia 2 heel area with this suede liner, and overall this boot is absolutely sensational. Then of course one of the most anticipated launches of the year, the Hypervenom Phantom 1 remake. These are a unbelievable pair of football boots, an elevated feel over the originals from back in 2013. You still get this amazing Nike skin upper, which is a 3-layer, very, very thin upper composed of an internal liner, a mesh mid layer, and then of course this sticky kind of polyurethane coating over the top, giving it a grippy, nice honeycomb waxy sensation to it. Really nice heel area, and of course my favorite sole plate of all time, the Hypervenom 3 hyper reactive sole plate as well. We also got the Mizuno Alpha 2 made in Japan and Elite models, this being subtle upgrades to an already excellent speed boot. Now we have zero glide tech all the way through the inside of the football boot, both on the underside of the tongue and throughout the entirety of the upper and sock liner. A slightly re-engineered upper that gives it a little bit more softness straight out of the box while not losing any of that really nice rigid lockdown that you expect from a boot like this. And then of course the same Carvo midsole and standard Alpha outsole that we got on the first generation. Another excellent special edition, the Adidas F50 Adizero leather. I absolutely love these boots. They fit perfectly straight out of the box with this calfskin leather upper. Molds to the foot straight away. It's got plenty of volume for those wider foot shapes, a really nice deep lacing system. Heel area that maybe could use a little bit of improvement, but was a 2010 remake, so you can't really expect anything more in terms of what they gave you here. And then of course the Sprint Frame 360 outsole from the standard F50 line or the modern F50 line, giving this boot a very nice classical elegant feel with that modern touch. And one of my personal favorites was the Innovation pack. Now I brought all of them out just because I think they're all excellent products. We have the Morelias over here and then the Neo and the Alpha on my left-hand side. Moving from right to left, we have the Wagyu leather Morelia 2, which takes all of the best parts of the design and the build quality of the standard Morelia 2 and just adds this Wagyu leather, which is a little bit more dense and a little bit more robust than the K leather, so it's going to give you that extra padding. We have the Morelia Proto, which is one of my personal favorites out of this whole pack, a wonderful addition that takes inspiration from Mizuno boots of the past, like the Rebula Cup and the Wave Cup Legend. Then we move on to the sort of innovation of the innovation pack, which was swapping sole plates between these two boots, the Alpha 2 and the Mizuno Morelia Neo 4 Beta. So the Beta now has the midfoot Carvo insert and the Alpha 2 sole plate, and the Alpha 2 upper now has the Morelia Neo 4 Beta sole plate. So both excellent football boots across the board, amazing performance, amazing build quality, and I have thoroughly enjoyed testing all four of these boots. Now, in terms of my personal favorites, I'm actually going to give you my top 5. In front of me are my favorite boot releases of this year so far. Over here we have the Predator, the Hypervenom remake, the F50 remake, the Morelia Proto, and the DNA. All of these boots are absolutely fantastic to wear, and you can kind of see a theme with a lot of leather boots here and then some synthetics over on this side. Now I want to talk about why each one of these is really special and go into, hopefully with some of these special editions, what these brands could maybe bring to the market in the future. So starting with the Predator is one of those boots that just fits. I think this hybrid touch with the strike skin elements is sort of this perfect combination of comfort, performance, and it's got this kind of elasticy sensation on feet. So you put your foot in, you break the boots in a little bit, and it still has this sort of rubber band effect on your foot, giving you a really personalized, thin touch on ball without any of the drawbacks of a leather football boot that may overstretch over time. I absolutely love the design of this football boot. The FT model is probably one of the most beautiful football boots on the market today, regardless of brand. And I do think that from a performance perspective, that this boot as well as the other laced model are top tier as far as elite football boots go. The Morelia DNA is a boot that I have absolutely loved since the original colorway back in 2021. This is a boot that is slightly updated since that previous generation boot, and it is wonderful to play in. I'm a huge fan of the general release Morelia 2, although one of the critiques I personally have of that boot is it just doesn't feel like the stud pattern gives you enough aggression on FG surfaces, particularly if it's a little bit wet. That obviously changes when you include one of the best sole plates of all time in the Morelia Neo 4 and Neo 4 Beta sole plates. That in combination with this absolutely sensationally soft upper is one of the most elegant packages you can have on your feet. It's lightweight, it's super comfortable, and easily deserves a spot in the top 5. Now, of course, we got to talk about the Hypervenom remake, which I know was an absolutely stunning sellout. It sold out here at Ultra Football in about 68 seconds or something crazy like that. And I am personally attached to this boot because I wore it back in my senior year in high school, way back in 2013, believe it or not, and 2014, my debut season in college back in America. Now, this boot back in the day was really easy to sort of break and to split this upper, but with this new slightly modded upper construction with the Hypervenom 3 sole plate, this is a remake that I'm going to be enjoying for years to come. It feels very nice. It still gives you that amazing Nike skin feel while giving you a little bit more robustness so that it feels a little bit more solid and more performance oriented on feet. Easily in my top 5. Then we move on to probably the most surprising for me in terms of the release. I really thought the Morelia Neo 4 Beta with the Alpha sole plate was gonna be here in this top 5 for this video, but I actually picked the Morelia Proto because of the way that it feels on feet. It's one of the most incredible sensations when you put this boot on because it's got this really unique stitching pattern that gives you actually some bit of lockdown given the fact that this is a full K-leather upper. The shape of this boot is also perfect. I think it fits most people straight out of the box in a true to size. I wear my usual size 9 US in these, and the fit, the length, the width is absolutely perfect. They put the Morelia 2 heel area on here as well, so the grip is really good, and getting these boots on and locked in just feels like it's a boot that you want to play in. I actually commented in my own playtest video on my channel that this was a boot that I just want to go and play footy in. It's absolutely the most comfortable boot on the market, bar none at the current moment. And it's one of those boots that just with this AG plate feels super grounded, super natural. You just get into it and go play. And last but not least, the Adidas F50. Now, this is actually a boot that I have on my quote unquote grail list of boots that I don't actually own, but really want to at some point. This is my personal pair, but for the original pair, I absolutely loved the idea of a super lightweight leather speed boot. Now, of course, we've had F50s in the past that have been remade in leather, but this one in particular just has all the heritage of what I remember the 2010 World Cup being, with this beautiful leather upper. This one's slightly different in terms of shape compared to the original as well, and so this gives wider foot shapes a really great opportunity to fit in something that's very, very lightweight, very responsive, but performs and fits really, really well. So easily in my top 5. So if you noticed, this top 5 is in no particular order. These are just the ones that I personally love. These are all my personal pairs, and I brought them in today because I wanted to show you and hopefully tell you a little bit about what we could see in the future. Now, here at Ultra Football, we were able to stock all of these boots, of course, and most of these sold out really, really quickly, particularly the limited edition releases. We still do have some innovation pack here in store, and of course the Predator in some different colorways as well. Overall, this has been an unbelievable year for football boots. 2025 has given us some of the coolest tech and remakes that we've ever gotten before. So as far as what I'd love to see given all of this really cool stuff, from the Mizuno brand, obviously with the Alpha over here and some of the innovation pack and DNA over on this side, I want to see continued versions of Morelia 2 and potentially kind of inspo boots that are going to give you that mesh of old boots of the past and new leather boots as well. Of course, the Alpha is debatably the best speed boot on the market right now. It is super locked in, and everything about this just screams barefoot, fast touch on the ball. So this really doesn't need to change all that much because it's already absolutely incredible. Now, from the Adidas brand, I love seeing all the remakes. I think bringing back boots like this that have a cult following from that 2010, 2011 era would be really cool. Some more F50 remakes would be sick. And then of course with this Predator line, I just love this boot. Honestly, it's one of my favorite out of every single one of these boots. It is one that I can just slide into and play anytime and just be super, super comfortable. I'd love to see some really cool homage colorways of a boot like this in the 25. And then from the Nike brand, I love the fact that they remade a boot. I know it's been between this and the Vapor, we've got some cool remakes, but I'd love to see more remakes like this where they add different aspects of different boots that they've done in the past, so you get familiarity from the cohort that loved Hypervenom 1 and loved Hypervenom 3. Then from the Asics brand, I'm really excited to see what they come out with continuing the heel lift. I think this is a really cool innovation that's really not all that special necessarily, but it really does give you a playing experience that makes you feel a little bit more on your toes and noticeably less stress on the lower parts of your body. It's one of those boots that you just slide into, fits perfectly straight away. A little bit of break-in time for those wider foot shapes, but this upper is super nice and the lockdown is absolutely incredible. So some more stuff from Asics in this sort of category would be really cool. But I am curious, which of these boots is your favorite, or do you have another boot that you think is the best release of 2025 so far? Stay tuned for December, January, and we'll go over the Q3 and Q4 of all the boot releases of 2025. My name is Noah Kavanaugh. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel here at Ultra Football. Head over to our Instagram as well, at Ultra Football on Instagram, and you can see daily updates on all the best football boots and football gear. And I'll see you guys next time at the world's greatest football store.